Hi, it's Nick from the Run Testers. In this video, we're going to be comparing the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2 and the New Balance Rebel 2. So we'll start with the price of the shoe. The Endorphin Speed 2 is the more expensive option. It's £155 in the UK or $160 in the US, whereas the Rebel V2 is £120 in the UK or $130 in the US. The Rebel is the lighter shoe. It comes in at 204 grams in my UK size 9, and the Endorphin Speed is 235 grams in my UK 9 or 8.3 ounces. The Speed has a drop of 8mm, whereas the Rebel is slightly lower at 6mm. The Rebel is slightly lower overall. It has a 26mm stack height, whereas the Speed is 35.5mm. When it comes to the design of the shoes, you're getting a nice monomesh upper on the Endorphin Speed 2. It's basically the real change from the Endorphin Speed 1 is the upper, and then a slightly more developed kind of heel counter, which is also reflective on this version. All the main tech of the shoe is in the midsole. You're getting Power Run PB foam, which is a PBA based foam, a nylon plate to kind of differentiate it from the Endorphin Pro, which is a slightly stiffer, kind of firmer ride, and then you're getting Saucony Speed Roll technology, which creates a very efficient, very fluid gait, and is really good. The outsole on the shoe has pretty decent covering of rubber. There's obviously a fair bit of exposed stuff here, but on both the Endorphin Speed 1 and 2 I found that this actually held up quite well. It didn't get chewed up even when doing little sections off-road, and the grip has also been surprisingly good. It's a very thin layer of rubber there, but I've used the Endorphin Speed in all kinds of conditions and it's found grip quite reliably. The Rebel V2 also has a mesh upper. It used to be like a booty on the first version, but now it's got a nice lightweight mesh upper with that kind of off-center stripe on each side, which makes your feet angle inwards. It's got a decent amount of padding at the heel. I'd say that they're actually both quite generously padded around the heel and tongue. I will say that point to these more as kind of training shoes than out and out racers. You've obviously got a big stack of New Balance's fuel cell foam here. There's no plate of any kind in this shoe though, which is probably why it's got the slightly lower stack than the Endorphin Speed. Even at kind of 26mm with no plate in there, a big soft foam like this can start to feel a bit unstable at times, although that actually hasn't been too much of a problem with the Rebel. It's got rid of the flange it had on the Rebel V1 if you're wondering about that. And then on the outsole of the shoe, you've got a really nice covering of rubber here, some kind of key impact zones at the back, on the side here, and then obviously loads on the front. That actually provides really good grip as well, like the Speed 2 in all conditions. It's probably slightly better on the shoe. And again, you've got a bit of exposed foam here that I haven't done too many miles in this version, but in the other Rebel shoe I have, I found that this has been holding up pretty well. When it comes to fit, the Endorphin Speed 2 is completely true to size to me. I've had no real problems with it. I have a reasonably narrow foot, and over time I tend to end up pulling these laces tighter and tighter, but it's never had a problem getting a lockdown around the midfoot. I find it a really comfortable shoe in my true to size. For its part, the Rebel runs slightly short. I'm still just about true to size in it, but I probably could go half a size up quite comfortably. When you first put it on, it does feel very close on the toes, I found, in my true to size, but once I started running it, it eased up a bit and I've had no problems with it. But yeah, it's a slightly shorter shoe than the Speed. So both of these shoes I think kind of fit the kind of bill as very, very fast, lightweight, everyday training shoes really rather than pure racers. The Speed with the plate is probably tilted more towards fast training overall than the Rebel, which at first I thought really was going to be a fast trainer. It's really light. That's what I'd used the first Rebel for, but actually over the miles I've kind of found it performs best really more as a kind of cruising shoe, as an everyday shoe. Like, it's very comfortable on easy runs. It actually isn't unstable to the point that I wouldn't use it despite the high stack. It's nice and lightweight. You can pick up in the pace in it easily enough, but sometimes when you are doing that, it can lack a little bit of direction and pop just because there is this huge slab of cushioning without a plate in there to kind of direct all that energy forwards once you put it all sink into that foam. So I found that kind of early on I wasn't all that impressed with it. I've liked it more over time, but like I said, I tilted it more towards that kind of, I used it more for that kind of daily training. I'd have done some fast runs. I took it down the track, did a couple of sets of kilometre reps with kind of shorter reps after the kilometre reps. On that run I switched to the Puma DV8 Nitro halfway through the session. And even though that's a much heavier shoe, that you could feel the kind of plate in the Puma shoe really helping to direct your kind of pace, and it did feel faster on the track. And I have done a speedy 10k in the shoe, and it felt quite good for that. But I think maybe over longer distances, especially at pace, you just start to lose a bit from the Rebel. It bottoms out a little bit just because it is so soft. I really enjoy using it for kind of shorter sessions, and I have liked long and easy runs in it, but even then, when you're pushing past half marathon and you want to kind of finish strong maybe, I don't know if it's the best shoe for it, just because for me it just lacks a little bit of pop. It ends up just feeling a bit mushy at times. But yeah, a really nice everyday training shoe for sure, and so lightweight that it's, it's fun to use for lots of different kinds of runs. Endorphin Speed 2, for its part, everyone who's followed the channel knows I'm a huge fan of the shoe. I did kind of over about 550, 600k in the first version. I've been using this one recently again, and I just love using this shoe. It's got a fantastic ride to it. It's not too firm, it's not too kind of harsh, but it is very fast. It's very it is very efficient. It does kind of just let you roll through your miles without really thinking about how fast you're going. Like, I brought out a few shoes recently because I've not been testing anything new, and just a few old favourites, including the Rebel and the Endorphin Speed, and I did an hour steady in the shoe, and was just ticking along beautifully. Like, I was purely running on like heart rate and feel and breath and stuff like that, and I was consistently surprised how fast the kind of paces were coming back at me. It's the kind of shoe where exactly, I think, exemplifies the difference between the shoes. I'm sure if I'd done that run in the Rebel, at that kind of exact same feel, I'd be running slower, or if I wanted to run the same pace, I'm sure my heart rate would have been a little bit higher. I just think you're getting a bit more back from the shoe. It's a bit more efficient. The plate is there, and when you want to up the pace, it's really is snappy. Like, it's not far off the feel of a full carbon shoe for less, and with a kind of slightly more cushioned feel because it's only a nylon plate. I think I like using this for easy runs and slow runs. I've not really had a problem with that with the Endorphin Speed. I think over long distances at easier paces, it's probably less comfortable. Something like the Rebel or other shoes start to get maybe a little bit of kind of pressure and pain under the forefoot, I find, on kind of long, easy runs in it. But going out hard for long distances, I've done kind of 30k in the shoe and the past version, and I haven't found it a problem. Like, it is comfortable. I probably find it a little bit more comfortable those longer distances than the Endorphin Pro even maybe. But yeah, it's not out and out cushy and cruisery like the Rebel can be if you want to use it like that. So there is a slight difference there in the shoes. I would say this tilts more towards producing the goods on fast days, whereas the Rebel is slightly more comfortable for kind of general daily use. So overall, I think the Endorphin Speed 2 is a better shoe than the New Balance Rebel V2. I think it's a great fast trainer. It's still quite comfortable on daily runs, but it really does produce the goods on kind of hard, long runs, short track sessions, and even racing. I've raced a 5k in this shoe. I think it'd be a really good half marathon and marathon racer for lots of runners who maybe don't want to spend big money on a full carbon shoe. But it is more expensive than the Rebel V2. It is heavier, and it is slightly firmer ride, I'd say. So V2 does have a place. Like, it's a better easy day shoe. I think it's a lovely shoe to chew up daily miles in because it is quite fun to run in. Once I kind of got it out of my head that this was a really lightweight, fast shoe, and actually used it more generally, I did start to enjoy the shoe a lot more, and it did really impress me over time. And I do like the design, especially this London Marathon colourway. I think it's a lot of fun. So I think a lot of people might find that they prefer the LV2 as a general daily trainer. Maybe they would find the Speed a bit too almost peppy and kind of speed focused, but I do think it is a good daily trainer. It's the one I'd be going for. I think it's more versatile in that it is faster, and that's probably what I'd focus on more, and I find the easy running fine in this shoe. Rebel can do fast runs, but just lacks a little bit of direction and pop compared to something like the Speed 2, but is very nice on those daily runs. I actually think that these are a lovely two-shoe rotation if you were looking for that, and happy to pick up both. Both are actually versatile. Both can kind of cover off lots of different runs, but yeah, like I say, the Speed 2 is better at the fast stuff. It's better at racing. It's better at long runs, whereas the Rebel might bottom out a bit and kind of start to drain you a little bit on those long runs because of that big mound of very soft foam. But then on easy days, general runs, the V2 is fun, it's soft, it's comfortable, it's a lovely shoe to pull on for those. And then you've got the added bonus of the fact that both of them actually can do what the other one's strength is pretty well as well. So yeah, a nice two-shoe rotation maybe, but the Endorphin Speed 2 is my preferred pick of the two shoes if you are only getting one. That's it, guys. That's our comparison of the Saucony Endorphin Speed and the New Balance Rebel V2. Have you tried both of these shoes? Which do you prefer? I think these are two shoes that are really right up there in terms of the best kind of daily trainers out there at the moment. But yeah, let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, ring the little bell, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.